Not all bonds were created equal. Some are safe havens and some are ticking time bombs. How do you know the difference? It's all in the credit ratings. And we're going to dissect that and learn how the wealthy uses the credit ratings to make great decisions for their portfolio. So in the previous video, I discussed some terms that you need to understand when it comes to bonds. So there's no secret anymore. Bonds are a way to diversify your portfolio and to really protect your money from inflation. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the credit rating because it's very essential before you dive into the world of bonds. Now, if you missed the first video where I really broke down the different terms that you need to understand that are relating to bonds, be sure to click the link somewhere above or below in order for you to understand, well, what is a bond and the terms that you need to understand, because I'm going to be using some of those terms here. And so I see that some of you like the new style, so I'm going to keep our whiteboard. And so I'm going to share that now so that we can dive into the credit rating. So before I talk about the credit ratings, so likened to your credit score, the credit rating of a issuer, right? The issuer is the person who is issuing the bonds. The credit rating is similar to your credit score. So it's telling you, are you a worthy person to loan money to, right? If you have a credit score of 750, well, of course, every institution wants to give you a loan because it's a guarantee that they're going to get their money back. As opposed to if your credit score is below 500 or below, some people say 620, they're not looking your way. They're like, it's very risky to give this person a loan. And your interest rate is going to be super high, a whole lot of stuff. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to the credit ratings for when we're looking for bonds. So there are certain metrics that we're going to be discussing today that you want to look at in order for you to say, yes, I want to buy a bond from this company, or I'm going to leave them alone. So let's dive into, well, what the credit ratings look like. So the first credit rating we're going to look at is, well, it's called an investment grade. So let's kind of put that out there. And you might hear this a lot, right? So when we talk about the credit rating, it's going to be that investment grade. Yeah, what is the grade, right? We all know grades. And so grades are typically in the form, you have AAA, right? You have AAA, AAA, then you have AA. Now, just like in school, right? Just like in school, if you see A's, it's looking good. So when we see a AAA or AA rating, that means that, well, this is a company that we can say have high quality, is what we would say. High quality and low risk. High quality, low risk. Okay, so that is what the AA, the AAA ratings mean. Now, then you might wonder, okay, well, so I see AA, I see AAA. What else is there? Of course, you have the single A rating, and you have now what we call the Bs. Okay, so we have your regular rating of A, and then we go back to what we call the triple B rating, right? So you're going to have a triple B rating. Okay. Now, the AA and the AAA are your highest quality. In the middle here, right? In the middle here, we have just the A and the triple B. Now, these are going to be what? Well, these are going to be your medium quality rating. This is not to say, okay, we're not gonna, buy bonds from these companies. It's just saying it's not as top tier. Like, when you go to school, you get a 90 or above, you have an A, depending on where you are, right? You have a 90 or above, you have an A, you really master the course. But sometimes you have 85, 87, and those type of things on your grade. A B is okay too. So that's what this category rating is. So A and triple B is medium quality. It's medium quality, but it is still considered safe, right? Medium quality, but still considered safe. So not to say you're going to shun your nose at these, okay? So we're just going to say still safe, relatively. Okay. Now, the next type that you might want to say, okay, what else is out there, right? What else is there? So, oops, we're trying to get this up. What else is out there? Well, next we're going to see, this is the grade that you want to stay away from. So anything above triple B, perfect, right? We're like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Anything above triple B, we're going to do that. Triple B and above. Now, these are, I got to tell you, these are what we call now, whatever I'm going to say below your triple B are what we call junk. And maybe it's not the best word to use, but these are the grades that you want to be leery of. And I'm going to tell you why some might choose the junks as opposed to the medium and the high quality grade. And this is how, risk comes into play when we talk about bonds, because they're more, let's just talk about the grade first, and then I'll dive into why someone would want to lend their money to a company that, let's say, doesn't have the medium quality or the high quality. So when we talk about double B, okay, of course, you may have triple C and, all these other stuff, right? CC. Okay, these are all gonna be junk. I'm gonna leave it there. Some people don't like this word, but we're gonna say it's junk. And some might call it speculative grade, right? Speculative grade. So these are the ones now, they have higher risk. So you gotta be very careful, very higher risk. Why does it have very higher risk? So remember the example that I gave earlier, right? I said, well, if your credit score is below a 650 or a 620, some people, banks or institutions may look at you and say, I'm not going to give you any money. This is how you want to treat the junk and speculative grade, because this is a high risk company, a high risk government. Sometimes, these people, they may not be good to give you back your money. But let's talk about now, let's look at them and see, okay, why might somebody say, okay, I want to still look at my junk speculative grade as opposed to the high? So let me just come back here. So we talked about these 6 grades, okay? And there are more, but these are just like in general what they are, right? The key thing to note here is this is the area that you want to stay if you're thinking about, keeping your money safe, not having to worry about inflation and stuff like that. The investment grade, the medium quality, the safe, the medium and the high quality. This is where we want to stay. Now, some of us, we love to live on the edge. We want to make money and we want to live on the edge. Now, for those of us who want to live on the edge, you might want to say, okay, I think I want to dabble down here a little bit. I think I'm going to want to dabble down here a little bit. And that's okay. Let me tell you what the difference here is. So for your high quality, low risk, and your medium quality, still kind of safe grades, what's going to happen here is you have a lower interest rate, right? So typically you're going to get a lower interest rate, just like when you go to take a loan out from the bank. If you have a high credit score, you get what? A very low interest rate normally. As opposed to if you have a very low credit score, well, your interest rate is going to be super high because they're like, I don't know if I'm going to get my money back, so I need to get it back on the interest. Okay? It's the same thing here. So when you have and I'm going to show this on screen again, when you have these high quality, medium quality grade, what we're saying here is you're good for the money, okay? And so these companies, these institutions, they are low risk. And so chances are you're going to get your money back. And so typically, though, the interest rate for these bonds are going to be super low, like 1%, 2%, and those type of things. And so one might say, well, I want more interest on my money. I don't think that's worthwhile. Getting 2% on a $2,000 loan, that's $20. That's not money for me. And so you might say, I want to get, a higher interest rate. And that's when you go to the junk speculative grades, okay, below that BBB rating, right? And so if you want to go there, you will get a higher interest rate, certainly. However, it's very risky because these companies might not be as reputable as the others above that BB rating. And so you might not get your money back. What that means is they may default on the loan that you gave them, right? And so essentially, you want to think about the grades. You want to think about the risk, the credit rating that's involved when you're looking at companies. So typically government entities, especially the United States, or the the federal government or the local state cities, they usually have those medium quality, high quality ratings. And then majority of the lower ratings, you can find those in corporations and companies. And so before you look and say, I'm going to dive into this bond or that bond, or I want to do this company or whatever the case may be, you want to make sure you're looking at the ratings to make sure you're going to either get your money back. And of course, we all have different goals. I talk about this a lot. We all have different goals, right? Some may say, okay, I want to do the junk credit rating companies for a short period of time, or you want to do the safer, the high quality ones for a longer period of time. Because all in all, the idea here is what? To beat inflation, of course. And so to beat inflation, the triple B and above credit rating is awesome to beat inflation. But some might say, I want to make an extra penny too while I'm doing that. And so just be on the caution side, right? I wouldn't suggest going long haul for the junk speculative grade. I would suggest that if you are just really trying to beat inflation, which is really one of the things that we want to look at, you want to make sure you are going to the medium to high quality grade, right? Now, if you found this video helpful, do like, share, comment, subscribe. And if you have any questions on, the rating and what type of rating you should be looking for, what companies and those type of things, drop it in the comment below and I'll be sure to either answer or do a video to answer your questions. And do share this video with someone who is interested in learning how to build their wealth. On this channel, my sole purpose is to bridge the wealth gap, one person, one viewer at a time, and that starts with you. So if you know anybody else who is interested in building their wealth, or you want them to build their wealth, okay, share this video and subscribe. Until next time.